Okay, hello traders. Welcome to the live advanced bookmap webinar here. Today we're joined by JTrader. This session forms part of our education here at Bookmap. These are held every Wednesday, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Bruce is away this week, so my name's Sam. I'll be helping out today and tomorrow with Scott. Sorry we're a little later than scheduled this morning. We'll be jumping into the live analysis in just a moment. First, just a couple of things to take care of before we get started. So, JTrader's contact information. You can find out more about Joseph on his website, Jtraderco. You can also connect with him on Twitter at Jtraderco. And disclosures here. All Bookmap Limited materials, information and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Live trading is in simulation demo paper trading mode and strictly for educational purposes. Live trading executed in simulation cannot accurately represent realistic trading performance. And the risk disclosure. Trading futures, equities and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. An investor could potentially lose all or more than the initial investment. Risk capital is money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security nor lifestyle. Only risk capital should be used for trading, and only those with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Okay, that's that done. So I'll throw it over to you now, Joseph.
Okay, thank you, Sam. Good morning, everybody. So we'll start sharing over here my screen. Can you see this good, Sam?
Yep, I'm just setting it up now. I see it, yep.
Okay. So good morning, McLovin, Sam, Sweet. Good morning, all traders over here. And for who's following me on YouTube. So in the last weeks, we spoke about manipulation. We spoke about absorption. We went over small caps and big caps. This morning, I'm looking at some plays on Tesla, Meta, IINN, and EOSE. The last two are small cap stocks. So I want to go over, first of all, what we had over here this morning on Tesla. And today we have news around 2 o'clock, if I'm correct. So data will be released. Generally, these days are low range or tight range. You can see, for example, over here on Tesla, that we are still inside the previous day range. So there's not a lot of trend going on over here. We tried, okay, below this this golden area over here. We tried to establish a trend, okay? So this was a pretty good pattern over here for a short. And actually, you can see that we had the level of short over here, this, but it then went back in range. So right now it's sideways over here. I will be probably waiting for the release of the data today, and I want to see some movement in the market. I was looking at the Qs. Today I have my charting over here a little bit slow. I was looking at the S and the Qs, and I was looking at this price action. So this is from Today Traders. You can see that we go directly into the 38.50 every single time. 1, 2, 3, 4 times. And then we are holding this support, right? So my plan this morning was to not look for a trade unless one of those two level was breached. So over here, and this is very important to understand. We have a breakout 3860, not yet. We have a breakdown of 3800, not yet. So I'm simply waiting because right now we are in a range and I don't really want to trade inside in a range. Okay. So for me, one of the most important criteria over here is to wait this resistance breakout and this support over here breakdown. Okay. Inside this range over here, I'm not really trading unless you want to scalp and maybe take counter trend setups. Passing to Tesla again, having this idea, okay, and knowing that scenario in the market, I personally didn't trade Tesla this morning. I've seen a setup over here that I teach and that I like. Basically, I'm gonna put also Bookmap over here to help you. Okay, so I'm gonna keep the zoom out over here on Tesla. This was yesterday high, okay, almost into the close. This morning, that level works as a resistance, right? And we could see over here what I call a blow up. So we went directly into the level of resistance. We do an over under of that level. At the same time, we start seeing over here a trend line break. That's the starting of our short. Okay. So for me, it's extremely important that I analyze, first of all, the market. I start looking what ES is doing. And then at a certain precise, at that precise level over here, 702, 703, I can trigger my entry, having a very tight stop, and then looking for that unwind. Okay. So this is a blow up move into the previous day high. Okay, traders. Now, the second thing I want to focus over here is the price section right now. Where is my next entry? Okay, so we spoke about what the system the strategy that I trade did this morning, but what the system is telling me right now, where I would enter. So until, for example, I'm not below the 682, 681, and I don't see ES starting to trend, I won't really be looking for a short over here. Okay, as I said, we are inside the previous day range. We are at that support 687 over here. We have another support, which is the low of day 682. And only below this area, if we start also unwinding with some pretty good selling pressure, okay, then I can start decide to look for a pattern on Tesla. But otherwise, today will be a possible day where I won't be trading big caps midday. All right. Want to check also the 1 minute chart. So you can see, for example, the system that we're trading. So one of the patterns that we're trading yesterday gave us a long here, and then another long opportunity, another long opportunity. So a beautiful intraday move. We went from the first entry that was over here, more for advanced traders, around the 665. We moved up till 700, and the system got all these perfect dips to buy. This morning, you can see that we have no trend. We are basically inside this previous day. So a little bit conservative. Uh, Fine for me not taking a trade over here. So we'll be waiting. Meta was the second one. Also this in the watch list. Let's see over here. Pulses some slow, so I may put up another charting software. Let's see. No. Been having problems this morning with the charting software. Okay, so I'll be using Transpider. I use this mainly for daily analysis. You can see over here my my crypto Solana. We'll put over here Amazon and Meta. We'll start with Meta. Five-minute chart. All right, so the same setup we had on Tesla, we had also Meta, but I really preferred over here the price section on Meta. Bookmap worked perfect, really perfect. And I'm not saying over here something that, only because now it happened. I'm telling you, no, this is really the setup that I'm trading every single day. If you've been in the room and you know how we trade, this is exactly my A+ setup over here for a beautiful short. So over here we had a first morning push. You can see over here the open 168. And then we start pushing to this 169. Remember that the pre-market high is this level over here, so around 168 and 70. So we go and breach that resistance. And immediately we have over here a double top into a high level of liquidity, because at 169 we see over here almost 8,000 sellers, all right? And then 8,000 shares over here on sell. And then over here we fail below the open level at 168, which is this level over here, the open level. Once we feel that, okay, there is where we start taking the trade. More advanced traders can start taking a partial over here, just, like to wet their feet, 20, 25, 30% of the position, and then adding over here on this breakdown 168, and then you can see perfect target 165 and 50. This area over here, 165 and 50. Going over Bookmap, I want to show you price action and the order flow over here. So we see that we push a first time into the 169. So a first time we push over here 169. And then we start having over here some exhaustion. You can see over here no prints, no dots, exhaustion, double topping that resistance. And we start fading below the open level. Once we start fading, we start rejecting. So you can see we fail, we reject, reject, reject. So we have each time a pullback to the previous resistance, and then we start fading more, fading more, fading more. At a certain point, I think we had the best pattern of the day over here. Once we start pushing to this 167 and 80, 168, which is this level over here. So you can see this perfect pattern over here with an absorption. And that's also not only the 168 dollar number, but it's also the open level area. So we push into that. We have Bookmap, and then we also have the chart telling us this is a good level for us to enter. So all things together, right? And then we start unwinding over here. Now, same for Tesla. This is choppy. It's lateral today. So beside this A+ setup over here, there's still nothing that I want to trade at the moment on Meta. Okay, so I will be waiting over here. Okay, traders. So this is for Meta over here. So right now we are short on EOSC. And I don't know if anybody of you trade small caps. Well, actually, I see some guys over here on in Bookmap. And EOSC is a small cap. It's a very small cap. They have a 73 million market cap. So I'm using over here, first of all, the stats with JTrader. We have a float of around 50 million. Okay, so it's still a small flow, but not, those micro floats or nano flows that we often see in small cap land. And they have a pretty high institutional ownership. Okay, big red flag. What can you tell me about the institutional ownership over here? So when I see this number over here, okay, above 50, me as a red flag in the sense that they're gonna probably hold more, okay, the dips if they find high volume. And this morning we had the high volume, and I'm gonna show you what I mean by that, holding the dips, and how to trade this. So over here they had news this morning. So always read the news when you trade small caps. Actually, read the news always for every single asset that you trade. Could be crypto, futures, always. Okay, first of all, do your pre-market plan. and your morning due diligence. So over here is saying more than doubles backlog to over 460 million. So today announced the signing of two significant orders. So basically is an order or contract news. All right. Contract or order news, the same exact thing. I want to check also the gap stats if we have some previous gapper. So we had one gap over here with 26% average gap. And we had a 942 high of the day. So what does it mean? That 942 that morning was the high of the day. So knowing this morning I was looking to short over here ERC. I'm gonna share over here the plan, what we were looking for. Okay, so one of the many comments that I had this morning over here was waiting for or 220 or 235, like I was talking to a member. And then I said, or waiting for a blow up of the morning pre-market high. Okay. So what we had over here, this is the pre-market high of today. So I was looking into this area of 175. Okay, you can see over here. 1 second, I will put. Look in this 175. And over here, I will do the same thing with Bookmap. So I will look for any kind of resistance 175. And we had some liquidity over here, not that huge amount of resistance that I would expect, okay? Because often I would really look for those big red heat maps, okay? So we'll look for those big substantial levels full of sellers with wall of sellers, and then looking for a trade. Over here, we had also a second level, which is this 150 over here. And all morning, this 150 was holding. So we had over here dip 150 pop, dip 150 pop, dip 150 pop. So that is the critical area this morning on over here on EOSC. Okay, traders. So looking for that main area of support resistance. I want to also look. Oh, and now this is not working. It seems I have like difficulties over here. Okay, probably need to reboot my computer, but we'll keep it like this. So right now we are short into this area, 168. Okay, so following the plan, looking over here for that resistance 165. I wanted to head a little bit higher, so having like a better average, like 171, 72, but I have averaged 168. And right now it's simply fading. No buyers, or I will say small amount of buyers. If you start looking over here, the times and sales, you will really recognize this. So reason for me to hold the trade until over here 130s. Okay, I'm not really looking to cover anything more on IINN. What I did this morning was shorting this area and covering partial of this area, then letting the trade run and using this profit over here to like as a safety, right? Like a cushion. And then once I saw this level over here, I added more. I missed these tops over here. And then I'm looking for this unwind all the way down over here to 130. So when we're going down, we're having really the support, okay, the demand moving down as well. This means weakness, okay? So just looking to hold over here our trade. The last one was IINN. So we'll see if we're going to have a setup over here on IINN. The morning gave us a setup with Bookmap. So we were trading this personally, no, because this was a trade SSR. So I never look to call trade short on SSR with high volume, because a lot of unexperienced members will start shorting early and then they will get squeezed. So what I called over here in the morning was a long. So we were looking to look for a dip into this area. And why? Micro support, SSR stock, news, high volume. And over here, you can see also the price section. Okay. We basically see for this first part of our INNN, if you look over here on Bookmap, we have no big sellers. Only these dots are blue over here. So the majority of these are buyers. Okay. No big sellers. So over here, we had a morning breakout of this pattern. So you can see over here on Bookmap. And then a push to this 260, 265. So over here, Bookmap was perfect because gave us really the timing for entry short. I didn't call this in the room to short it for the reason that we have over here an SSR with high volume. Okay, so you have to be ready to cut this early or cut this fast if this is going to continue to go all the way up. But you can see over here a beautiful pattern really using Bookmap. Extension into this resistance area. And then double top. We have more formation over here. 1, 2, 3. And then more sellers, okay, start to create a wall of sellers. Look at all these levels over here. And then we come all the way down. So while this is the front side of the move, you can see over here we have no resistance, right? And then over here we start having a small resistance, but they're basically canceling over here. Again, canceling, I believe this is something was triggered, but only at this level over here, the resistance starts working. So this is really the timing that we have over here in the 265, this area, and then we start fading down. So over here, no resistance above. Look at the difference, right? And then a decent supply area. And then we start looking for that, that unwind. So let's continue to look at the market. Let's see if Tesla will start having that fail. If you have questions, traders as well, just free to reach out.
I've got a couple of questions for you, Joseph.
Yes.
Just one of my own questions, actually. I'm quite interested. When you were going through your meta setup, you talked briefly about partials and scaling into the position if you're kind of feeling brave or if you're a more advanced trader. Right at the top there. I'm interested to hear your thoughts on kind of the advantages, disadvantages of scaling into a position compared to just entering 100% of your position in one single order.
Okay. So I always say that, of course, if traders are below PDT, it's better that you take one main position, put a stop loss, set your target. But if you have the possibility to scale in and scale out, and I will put over here, for example, let's see, a 2-minute chart, if this can work good. Okay. Let's see over here, still loading, a little bit slow today. Okay, now it's better. And we're gonna put mate over here. So the point is, for me, when I scale in, scale out, and recycle shares. Okay, so recycle traders means get in, scale out partial, re-add, scale out partial, re-add, scale out partial. So trading around the core. I will start my position, for example, over here short, and in this at this level over here, my system tells me to enter between 20 and 30% of my size. Then when we fail and we start having, for example, over here, perfect rejection, which is this level over here, I want to add full size. So that 70, 80%. Now I can start scaling out. So I reduce my risk when we go into a support. I generally like to reduce between 25 and 30%. And then I can re-add, for example, the VWAP, what I covered over here. The disadvantages are, of course, a little bit more stress, all right, because you have to work a little bit more. The disadvantage is that if you start adding to your position and you're short in this case too low, your average will go down. So let's say that we added, and now my average is this area over here, and the stock is going against us, right? So we are right away in a stop loss. So always be careful where you add, because you always want to keep an high average. And if the trade is going against you, remember you can also even scale out. The advantages are that recycling, so as we said, shorting, scaling in, scaling out, scaling in, scaling out, is basically gonna give you more P&L, okay? So you're gonna have a bigger profit if you're doing this right, especially if the stock will unwind, because it will take more size, okay, and recycle and all the pullbacks. Also, an advantage is this for me, when you have a good risk management, you can really keep under control your position anytime. And anytime you will need to look at your average that you're trading. Okay, so this is it. This advantage is also when you have like a sideways market. If you start like adding and you get like sideways action, you're gonna get chopped up. Okay, so you're gonna basically trade in a sideways action, and that will bring probably down your average, and that will make you stop out with a loss. So always avoid scaling in, scaling out. So recycling when you're basically having a sideways market. The other thing is different. So starting with a feeler in the trade and then adding size when the trade is working in your direction. And is this better or worse than just taking one main fill? It's really, I believe, personal. Because there are times where I have a very tight stop loss, I can simply size in completely. But the majority of the cases, I like to add to my position. So starting small, adding more, not because the trade is going against me, okay, but maybe because I'm working a zone. For example, let's say that this morning I want to trade over here below the 169, 170. The price went only to the 169. So I will take my bullets, but I will leave also some bullets over here for the 165, 169 and 50, till the 160, 169 and 80, till the 170, and then looking for this to fail. When I'm instead not having that level, okay, that I really want, I want to trade full size. Okay, so I always give a little bit of, we say, we'll start with a smaller position and then generally adding. So over here are some bounce of the market. So very, very choppy over here. Tesla Meta today. We need to wait. Seems a photocopy. Let's also put SPY. Basically holding this main support. Nothing over here. We have other movers. So we have, for example, KAL. All these stocks are small floaters. So KAL over here as SSR on, 12 million float, institutional 91%. No news today. So, and also I still see over here a low volume, so I won't be trading this for now. You can see that we hold over here the support on INN, and now it's bouncing. Watching over here, you can see the tape still has a lot of volume. So I'd like to see if we can squeeze on INN. And I will be looking for this previous area of resistance where you can also see Bookmap, this area around 240, this area over here, around 240 over here. Okay, so let's see if we can get a squeeze till there for a possible short. So I only short SSR on extension plays when they extend big, or I take them long. I'm trying to build over here. You can see more green. When I say that means we start having more buyers. Just look over here, 5,000, 10,000, and 26. So trying to hold this up and bring it up. Tape is still slow, but they're trying with that green to make it bounce. They're looking for the break of the VWAP. I often see this generally mid-morning. And be ready because this is an SSR stock, so it can really squeeze fast, like it can dump really fast. Again, you can see 223. They're trying to hold over here the price. So for who just came over here, why and how I use Bookmap. First of all, traders go also to watch the past webinars. There are some webinars that I made that are very explanatory, and I share a lot of content and also setups. But over here, INNN level to look for a short, because this is the first level where we start seeing sellers jumping in. Then EOSC, not a great level of liquidity as I'm usually looking for. Over here, not the great edge that I wanted on EOSC. I'm short on this, but looking at Bookmap over here, there was just no follow through, but not a main clean resistance area that I want to trade. So this is a B setup. Meta was perfect, A plus. And this 2 times. So first of all, double top over here with the pre-market high. And this a big soak over here into the resistance around 168 and then unwind over here. Okay, so not a use unwind, but you don't care. You want to take partial with the move. You don't want to trade, short from here, hold till here. We want to take partial of the move, right? And I'm waiting for those levels there. So perfect levels using Bookmap today on Meta. The last one was Tesla. Again, not the, we'll say, super useful over here. I just saw over here some exhaustion of the move, but mainly I was looking with this at the trend line. So trend line break plus the level of intraday. Okay. Well, let's continue to look over here for setups. You look over here, INN, for example. Seems a distribution pattern. Distribution pattern in this case, like a three-way pattern or a head and shoulders. Let's see if we can break over here the 215. We couldn't reclaim the VWAP. Now we start seeing sellers. Remember, a few minutes ago, we were seeing only buyers. Now we start seeing sellers. And also we had FFIE this morning. Big fail. And it was a 3-day runner. Some support at 218. You can see over here, some liquidity 218, 216, 214, until 210. And don't fight the trend over here. This is not a long. We're still below the VWAP. That support 218 seem pretty weak. So we have some prints at 219. Seems like a nice bear flag over here. They're attacking more 219. Over here, you can see sellers. So they removed that liquidity, means they sold into that 219. There's still some at 218 over here. They're selling 218. If you break next target 210, which is this low over here, they're still selling 218 over here. Really no buyers. Now a few hundred shares left at 218. 217. So 218 went. No support until 210. So trend line break as well. So they missed over here, traders, to go break the VWAP again and reclaim it. And we had this trend line break. So the next target is going to be 210. And then this 180 area. Go back over here to EOC. So some support on 140. We have the target at 130 and lower. INN, let's wait for a second. Meta over here. Sideways basically is where it started this morning. And also over here, Tesla still sideways holding that support at 690 and 685. Okay, a little bit more breakdown. Now you can see a seller trader at 216 on INN. Slow market right now. I still see some big players missing from the holidays. That's the reason why being conservative on big caps and futures today. And also because we have the data at around 2 p.m., if I remember correctly. There we are. They pull it. You can see over here. So if we put, for example, configure add-ons over here, and I'm going to put the sweep indicator just to show you. So you can put even automatic over here. So I believe that it will be triggered. Let's see. I don't see it yet. Strange. It depends really how you filter it. But I mean, this is a pretty good drop. You can see how it drops when you have SSR. Trendline break. That was the support, and they're guiding this down. You can see the seller jumping over here. This is pretty nice. This is the sweep indicator. You can see how it's working. So we have the trendline break. And this is a bear flag. Plus we have over here step down pattern. You can see how the seller is guiding this down over here. Try to hold that support at 210, which was the previous support. Now they're trying to bounce. So you can see over here after the sweep to this 207, they're trying to make it bounce. You have to wait a crack with the support with target 180. Okay, traders, we have another runner this morning on SSR. Could be interesting. RevB that I traded in the past days or weeks. I'm gonna put back over here Bookmap. So these are all the connection I have. This is for the stocks, so DX feed. And we're gonna put now RevB and look into this. So let's dig into RevB, and I can tell it's a small cap. Right now it's at 145. We can drag over here also the fibs. See if they go. And today, traders, I have problems over here with my machine. It's basically very laggy. So we'll try over here to. No, there's no way I can do this today. Okay, so let's look together at the price section over here on the RevB. We have a SSR stock, 10 million float, low institutional ownership. No news for today. So this seems more like a bounce play. The company over here has no revenues, negative net income. So just let's look at the price section over here. I will put the fibs on another computer because over here it really doesn't work. We're gonna put over here back the dots. Okay. So I'm watching level over here, 150. And I'm watching the levels over here, 170 and 195, which are my fibs, or I'm looking to long dips. Beautiful price action over here, beautiful push. Right now, they're still trying to hold over here the price. You can see we still have buyers all along the way over here, blue dots. When I look at this extension, I'm looking at fib levels. I'm looking at daily support or resistance levels. And I'm looking at the price action on Bookmap. Great traders. I'm first selling over here, but this is too early to short. This was a par move over here to the 150. So only if you grab over here the spike. Now it's too late to short. I also see no bars around. So par moving to the 150, which is a fib level. So Tesla sideways, Meta sideways over here. You see market is flat, Amazon as well. Snap, which gave us a very good move yesterday, sideways. Netflix slowly downtrending. Baba is, I would say, the best trend of the day. So Baba I shorted the previous year, the past year, a lot. And I took some big swings with the options because this was the main trend, right? And from summer 2021 all the way down over here, for me, this was really picture perfect to get options each time we are going to this areas, right, of my bands. Right now it's trying to bounce, but I'm watching this on a daily basis because we're probably going to have a breakdown over here of this trend. And if that starts again, then I'm going to look for other patterns like this for a short. Okay. So this is what I'm looking right now on Bob over here. The other one I traded a lot last year was BA and Pitten. BA, I like this trend, but again, I'm not going to long it over here despite the support from the previous years. I'm going to look only for a pullback to this area over here, 150, 152, to take then another short. Good setup over here. This was back in March. And good setup over here. Amazon holding that support. Mate over here slowly trending down. This is what I'm looking on BTC. So I'm looking for this trend break, trend break, trend break, and now possibly another trend break over here. So I'm not really longing yet. And over here we have our power move, route B. But again, no bars on three brokers. And therefore, no trade over here. It pushed directly into this 155, which is a pretty good fib. That is exactly the 61.8% fib, taking this high and taking this low. Anche se blocchi, sì. So nice power move. We have another grinder. Okay, so when I say grinder, it means a stock that is grinding up, LYT, which is a stock that I traded in the past days. Okay, so somebody is guiding this up. I know the stock pretty good. The only level that I'm watching over here are 620, 630, so really not feeling comfortable to trade it before. What's in the 620, 630? This area up here.
Maybe it's a good time to bring in this question, Joseph.
Yeah, sure, of course.
We've got a question on the resting liquidity and acting like a magnet, and kind of basically if you kind of go through what you look for in the resting liquidity, or this question is saying if the resting liquidity gets front run as price approaches, does that mean anything?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think.
okay, I get that. So basically, we see this often on runners. And if liquidity is front run, means we have a very strong stock, a lot of buying pressure. So for example, traders, if you saw yesterday in the afternoon or midday afternoon, what we had, for example, on Tesla, Meta, what we had also on Amazon, we had so many. Now I cannot have over here bookmap of yesterday. I don't have it like recorded, but we had several at dollar numbers, several heat maps over here all the way up. So we had pretty good stack of liquidity. I remember, if I'm correct, the 165, I believe was this over here, was a pretty good liquidity area. And whenever we see these, don't short only because you see that liquidity. Doesn't really mean much. I mean, somebody wants to get filled. It's not, this is going to be a top. Could be some buyer over here that is selling into partial, maybe 165, 170, 175, and so on. So this means when they're simply breached and then we hold and then consolidate above, right? This is the 165. You can see we consolidate above, we hold and push. That means just strong buying pressure, strong liquidity. Okay. In that case, I simply don't want to fight. So really, unless it's a pretty good daily resistance and I will see like some topping action. What is a topping action? Something like we had over here this morning, okay? Or even over here, where we top several times. We try to push, but we cannot, okay? So that's a topping action. In that case only, I will look for high liquidity areas where I can start taking some short, or of course, if I'm long, selling my position. Okay, so that for me is one main criteria. Other questions, Sam?
Yeah, we've got a question here on your J lines. Do you cover trading with your proprietary J lines in the beginner course you offer, or do we need to purchase the advanced course for that?
Okay, so the beginner course comes together with the advanced course. And it's not only about J lines, which are two moving averages got from Fibonacci expansion numbers, but it's basically all the strategy, all the chart patterns that I trade, all the playbook. So that is something I really suggest for you to go. If you take the model, you have the discount because there's a bundle right now for the 4th of July, which is beginner course, advanced course, which covers small caps, big caps, and the same rules apply also to crypto and futures, plus access to the live streaming, where every day I share my screen, execution, my charts, and you can learn when I trade.
Thank you. And we've got another question here. Jay, can you explain when are you taking J line rejection or 9 EMA rejection?
Okay. So I work generally for the intraday with hourly 15, 5, and 1 minute chart. So of course I want to see, and now we're talking big caps, okay? I want to see a market that is unwinding, like Tesla yesterday morning. I want to see a market that is uh, through Qs, Pi, SPX, ES, and Q that is unwinding as well. Yesterday morning, for example, Tesla was fading, and the setup, the A+ setup that we had was this over here. This was our short, where it was also good to buy puts. We were looking for puts over here, 660 and more 655. So this is an environment that I'm looking for short. So the A+ setup, I will be looking for rejection, a stuff, could be J-lines, VWAP, pre-market resistance, a pattern over under. So different criteria. 90MA is what I use to generally recycle, as we were talking before, recycle generally shares. For example, we have over here a trend up on Tesla yesterday. And we have several bull flag patterns. And you could use the 90MA, you can use, for example, the 13MA, or even a combination. Maybe some traders use that I mentor of 5 and 15. But basically, the pattern remains really the trigger. So this is my pattern, okay? This is the pattern that I'm looking with certain criteria because this is a reversal. So we had the morning drop and then a reversal of the market. So the stock goes from red to green. And once we go green, I want to see that we're holding those dips. We're holding those dips. We're holding those dips. We're holding those dips. So over here, this becomes a perfect long for me. This is another perfect long for me because it's a fake washout. This is another perfect long for me because it's another fake washout. Plus, I have all these 90MA entries. Now, I'm not looking only that moment. Let's say we take this pattern over here. I'm not looking only at the moment at the chart. I want to look at confirmation with Bookmap. So I will look for the price section to have a follow through. In this case, to the upside, I want to see strong momentum. I would like to see, like over here, the majority of the dots blue, the speed of the tape rising. Okay, so it becomes faster. At the same time, I want to see liquidity removed. And I don't want to see, for example, like we were talking about before, that 165. I don't want to see something that rejects my position. So I want to see something that is simply straight going up. Of course, you will have pullbacks. And those pullbacks over here, there will be opportunity for me to add and recycle my position. If somebody is a beginner, I always suggest, to take the first trade, place your stop, take a part, and then hold your position until the system is telling you to hold the position. Okay. So that is between the J lines and the 90MA. super choppy over here. We'll have to wait the market. So this was a perfect yesterday on Tesla. This was a long, this was a long, this was a long, this was a long. I mean, really picture perfect. And the same was on Meta, Amazon, and others. So I saw some big days yesterday from some of my mentor students. Now, we have to wait traders probably for 2 o'clock for the FOMC to have any kind of move. EOIC over here, as we said, we're holding a short position, and look where it is at the J lines. So the second one over here is IINN, and we're holding over here. Let's see if it loads. Really slow connection I have today, so sorry for that. It's not loading anything. Okay, anyways, okay, over here we're still holding the support at $2.10. And let's look over here, LYT, which we had this move over here to the 6. I was waiting 620. LYT over here, it got a little bit of rejection. See that? It came down. And over here, I'm simply waiting. So only few trades today, good trades. For example, EOC is perfect. And for now, I'm simply waiting for the afternoon session. This is another runner, but with very low volume. Dip over here to 211. Now it's 230. Let's check over here some stats. I traded HGEN in the past. We have a very small market cap, 57% institutional, 67 million float. Peer-reviewed publication in Toric supporting early treatment for COVID-19 patients with lenzilumab guided by C-reactive protein. So a COVID news. Want to check also if they have dilution on. Let's put over here HGen. Yeah, they have a ton of dilution and no cash, 75 million ATM. Big shelf, 200 million over here. Wow, so not really the best company. And I'm looking for a short HGen between 235 and another 260. So we'll put over here HGen. Could be interesting today. If I look at the daily resistance, I'm looking ideally this area over here, 266, and also over here, 230. So we have 2 main points of resistance. 1 and 2 over here. All right, so those levels over there, I will be looking if I have a pattern to short this. Not really longing something with that big ATM, no cash. All right, Sam, any new questions?
No, I think we're pretty much caught up now.
Okay, so I think we can wrap it up over here. Anyways, the market is pretty slow.
Okay.
Again, traders, thank you for following today. The main points over here today were how to make an analysis for a small cap, how to look at daily charts for big caps, how to look for levels of support and resistance on Bookmap, how to see, for example, when we have an SSR stock like before INNN and big hands, sellers are guiding down the price. And also, hope you enjoyed. Put a like over here, thumbs up for the video session. Thank you, Sam, for being host today. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, Sam, and see you next time.
Thank you, Joseph. Yep. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye.